Good evening and welcome to a Sunday evening stream. I'm not going to promise that writing is going to happen tonight because we're both quite tired. I've just eaten a really big roast chicken dinner and I might fall asleep from that. So we just don't know. But we're going to try something.
We're going to try. An attempt will be made.
My name is Jamie Sands and I write urban fantasy and romance with queer characters. And I finished a book this morning, so I'm very happy with myself.
Yay. I am Gillian St. Kevin. I also write queer fiction of the paranormal, historical, urban fantasy, mystery, and gothic romance variety. I describe my work as paranormal nonsense. But Judy says that's bad marketing and I'm not allowed to put that on my stuff. Yeah. I tried my new tagline, Gillian St. Kevin dismantling capitalism with every book on the Romance Writers New Zealand Christchurch chapter today. And they laughed, but said I'm not allowed to use it.
Well, I mean, I can see how it wouldn't necessarily sell romance, but that doesn't mean you can't use it at all.
Yeah, I actually think it would make a fantastic first line of my author bio. Gillian St. Kevin is dismantling capitalism in her hometown of Christchurch.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. Yeah. I can tell this is going to be a silly one tonight.
My brain's actually like, well, you're not sure what you're going to write. Maybe you should just write some more of this anti-capitalist horror story that you started last night.
That would be fantastic.
So maybe I should. Maybe that is a thing.
Yeah. So,
but warm up first.
Yeah, but before we do the warm up, this afternoon I hung out with one of our sort of chat live stream regulars, Julie. Nice. And Julie put in an order of stickers to arrive before the RWNZ conference, which was last weekend. They arrived today, which was sad news for everyone at conference, but good news for me because I got this beautiful rainbow romance writer sticker. Isn't it great?
That's lovely.
Yep.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yep.
So, I do have new stickers though. Yesterday we went to the Korean festival, which was the first ever. They'd been meaning to have it. They said it was postponed twice. They were going to have it, and then COVID shut it down, and then they had to postpone again. But they had it for the first time yesterday over in Henderson, and I got these stickers, which are the mascot for K-Fest. So there's a little sheep for Korea and a little kiwi for New Zealand, and they're just hanging out together.
Wonderful.
And the Korean Fest slogan was "Better Together," which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah, that's lovely.
I don't know where I'm going to put them, but they're so cute. I had to grab them.
Yeah.
So, what would you like for a warm up? Do you want movie tarot? Do you want a therapet or regular tarot?
Since we had tarot this morning, how about a therapet?
Sounds good. Therapets by Ellen, aka the latest Kate online. Oh, this was just on the bottom, but it's very sweet.
Axolotls.
You are going to get through this just fine. Love an axolotl. It used to really scare me when I was a kid, but I grew out of that.
Minecraft recently updated and introduced axolotls, and I'm so excited. I have not yet seen one in-game, but I look forward to catching one in a bucket and taming it and making it my pet.
Amazing. My favorite clothing store, Dangerfield, has just put out an axolotl range with shirts and T-shirts and things with axolotls, but I'm going to wait until they go on sale. Let's see. You're doing well.
Yay.
Keep going. A little encouraging fox. So
you're encouraging fox.
Encouraging fox says you're doing well. Keep going. So whatever that sparks in you, I guess. Actually do a 5-minute warm-up. This is my warm-up book. 5 minutes.
Oh, if you're setting your timer, I don't need to.
Yeah.
A bit overkill.
I was stuck on 30 minutes from my roast cooking earlier, but okay, 5 minutes.
Funny enough.
That's the cardigan.
Yep, I did the exact same thing when I was cooking my veggies today. I went and I was set at 20 for our sprints.
All right. Okay. 5 minutes from now. since it was about doing well and keeping going, I wrote a little things I've done list for today.
That's exactly what I did.
Amazing. And then I still had time, so I wrote this paragraph about, dreams.
Yeah, I gave myself a little pep talk, basically. I have been holding on to things I wanted to do but didn't. For example, before I stepped down as membership secretary, I'd volunteered to. So, context: Jamie and myself are both members of Romance Writers New Zealand. I used, until I think May, I was on the exec as the membership secretary until I stepped down because I just could not keep up with everything that the role involved. Yeah. And before I stepped down, I'd been planning to update the contest manuals for every contest except for Great Beginnings because somebody else had volunteered to update that one.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work. And it was work that I did not have time for and could not make time for just because I got sick for so long that when I stopped being sick, I had this mammoth to-do list and there was just no way to fit anything extra in there. And now that I've started this course, which I love, there's even less time to squeeze in things. So I've been holding that, thinking, I've got to do it. I'm such a bad person. It's August. How can I not have done it yet? And I finally realized a few days ago, it's not going to happen. So I had to email everyone involved and say, I'm really sorry. This is as far as I got.
Yeah.
But I can't do this. And I know I'm letting you down. Everyone has been super kind and understanding, and actually the new contest coordinator didn't know that I'd done anything, and she was about to start updating the contest manual, and I've saved her a job because at least I did that much.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it actually feels massive, like this big relief.
Yeah. It's interesting to me you say that. Oh, hi, Kitty. Sorry, I only just remembered to send the link
brilliant.
To you. It's amazing how much people will appreciate honesty, I've found. It's one of the things I learned when I first moved up to Auckland, and there was a really cool guy I was working for a while, and he left to move down south and pursue other things. And he said
people go south.
He went really far south. I think he's down in Invercargill way. Or maybe not Invercargill, but Dunedin-ish. Anyway, he said, before he left, he did a little talk, and he said, look, here are some things that I've learned that I reckon you could all learn from as well. And one of them was to take the blame and to say sorry for things that go wrong at work. In context, we would put out like a lot of releases to the website. He's like, people go out all together, lots of different teams at the same time. Something goes wrong. Someone can say, hey, I don't know whose fault it is. Let's try and find that person. Or someone who's involved can go, we'll take care of this. This is probably our problem. And if someone says that, even if it's not your fault, it encourages other people to say when they've messed up, and it breeds this culture where no one's blaming each other, which is really, really super important. So it's sort of like honesty, but it's sort of like just take some responsibility, even if you don't have to. And that always really stuck with me.
But once I stopped stressing about like the stuff that I hadn't done, which was update the individual contest manuals, I was able to see actually I did do stuff. It might have not have been what I wanted to, but my focus, it's like gratitude. When you focus on what you don't have, you don't appreciate what you do have. But if you focus on what you do have, you feel more content.
Yeah. And especially if you can see that it's benefited other people as well.
Yeah.
Really
basically, I think we're really lucky with the people in RWNZ.
Mm.
They're cool and mostly supportive. Our
the flood
meeting
wasn't too bad, Kitty.
Our meeting today was the contest debrief, and it sounds like everyone who went had a really positive experience. So I'm both hey, we are great, but also I really, it's the FOMO.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really spoken to anyone who went, so just people who have been like, oh, I hung out with your friend blah, and all this, oh, I hung out with Ada, oh, I hung out with Emma, and I'm like, oh, good, I'm glad that you met each other and you had fun.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of my friends who've gone have promised me notes from the shows, the panels that they went to. Oh, Kitty, I just said I hope that the flood wasn't too bad and that the rain isn't killing you with allergies. Right. Okay. So what are you going to work on, Jillian?
Well, my goals for today were to plot until the end of chapter 16 and write chapter 14.
Okay.
And I'm about a third of the way through plotting chapter 16, which I think I can definitely finish with a couple of sprints. Or, and then I may be 400 words in theory away from finishing chapter 14, which was my writing goal for today. So I'm going to try and check those off.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not organized enough to have given myself daily goals. Well, actually, I guess my goal was to finish Monsters and Manuscripts, which I have now done.
Yay.
So I'm going to begin this first sprint writing some postcards to my friends.
Yay.
So I've got them addressed and stamped, and then I ran out of juice the other day, so I'm just going to write some cute stuff. Visitors just leaving. And that will be, and if I run out of time, if I finish them, I'm probably going to write this horror short story that keeps jumping into my brain.
Thank you, Kitty. We are both pretty tired, so we're not sort of expecting too much from ourselves tonight.
No. And to be honest, I don't think we're going to do more than 2 sprints. If we get 2 sprints, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really overdid it today with morning sprints, accountability meeting, then RWNZ meeting. It's just, I am socialed out. And then I went grocery shopping and cooked an epic meal. So I'm like,
I wore myself out. I did sprints this morning. I weeded my veggie patch. I raked up the yard, all the petals on the tree. Made a massive roast chicken dinner, and didn't really have any downtime. So Anna had her barbershop quartet over, so they were singing, and I was just had my headphones on so I don't have to hear it, and getting shit done. So okay, 20 minutes.
In Curse of Monkey Island, the greatest video game ever, there is a quartet of there's a barbershop quartet basically, and they do haircuts, but they miss being on the sea. And Guybrush, the main character who you play as, he needs a crew for his ship to get him to another part of the island. So he has to recruit this barbershop quartet of pirates. And they start singing at one point in the game. Yeah. And whatever answer you choose to give them, they will turn into the next verse of the song. And it just goes, if you just go on and on and on and on until one of the options comes up with orange and they can't think of anything to rhyme with orange. So they've got no choice but to go back to work.
Amazing.
It is the best game in the world.
Okay. All right. 20 minutes. We can't turn this into a Monkey Island stream.
I wish we could, but no.
I almost turned it into a BTS stream the other day, so it's fine. It's fine. All right, 20 minutes starting now.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, you don't bring your narwhal to the gallery.
Don't bring a narwhal to the gallery. It's terrible etiquette.
Yeah. I'm glad that your flooding doesn't sound too dire, Kitty, but yeah, fingers crossed that rain doesn't last. Oh, how dare they spoil the gloom?
Yep.
These are amazing postcards.
Yeah, those ones are really good. I'm sending this one, this tragedy one, to a friend of mine who is in lockdown in Melbourne. So,
yep. We do not have moors. We have the Canterbury Plains, which are grass farmland, but they don't have any boggy bits, which I think are necessary for a moor. And they're not really wild and overgrown, and there's no heather or heathcliffs. There are just cattle and fences and lots of sheep and magpies, which are a type of crow and a lot bigger than what Americans or Europeans consider magpies.
I don't know how magpies were bigger.
Yeah, it really annoys me because I've got a story 3/4 of the way written called Overfamiliar, which is a wizarding awakening story from the point of view of the familiars, Grim, an orange cat, and Midas, the magpie. And I started writing this with my mental image of a magpie as a magpie. A big, great bird that, like, can really do damage. Yeah. But they are... magpies are everywhere here. Yep. Anyway, and then I just decided to look up magpies in the UK in case there were differences, and whoa, they are tiny. And it actually, I've realized that I need this particular magpie is different again because he's actually from Indonesia, which was a surprise, but there you go. Yeah, do you know what? Teasing with turkeys would work on just about every New Zealander except for me, because I have an uncle who farms turkeys.
What?
Yeah.
Can he ship them to Auckland?
No, he doesn't farm them commercially. He farms sheep and peas. Those are his cash crops.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a pig named Ernie who eats the kitchen scraps, and then once a year Ernie goes to visit the butcher, and then everyone in the family gets like bacon, a couple of cuts of pork. Oh no. And then there's a new urn. So a few years ago there were even 2 Ernies for a bit. But yeah, and then he does turkeys just purely for the lead up to the Christmas season.
Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6 postcards done. 2 were the same. They're these tourist cards from Tirau, because Tirau is a ridiculous little town that decided that corrugated iron art is its identity. And I adore it. Stop off every time we drove through.
Brilliant.
How did you go? We were very distracted that sprint.
Yeah, but I finished my plotting for chapter 16.
Oh, good.
Yep. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah. Salt is asserting his independence, and Ursula is shocked.
Good. Very good.
Yep. So now I somehow have to find the brain power to get back to work on chapter 14. The problem here is that for the last half of that sprint, I was trying and failing to open Scrivener. Failing because I'd sit down, I'd be like, okay, I don't want this I want something, but that something is not the Melon window, which is open in front of me. So I would minimize this window.
Yes.
And then I'd have the YouTube feed where we're on, and I'd be like, I don't want that. And then I would click to come back to this chat window, and then there'd be stuff happening in the chat. So I'd be like, oh, chat stuff. And get distracted. And that happened twice.
Yeah.
Like before I could get Scrivener open, my focus went.
Well, I'm glad it's not that Scrivener itself is refusing to open, which is what I initially thought you were saying.
No, it's all
wasn't that.
Which is good. I suspect that Inca is somewhere having their revenge because they now have all of our focus, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, true. Well, she was trying to sleep last I heard from her. It was a couple of hours ago. And she was having a terrible time trying to sleep. So I'm hoping the fact that she is not here means that she is sleeping finally.
Yep. I will join you in that hope. Maybe she is using our focus to catch some Z's.
I mean, and if so, I'm very happy for my focus to have been stolen.
Oh, Kitty, what kind of books do you like normally? Like, what are your preferred genres?
She's all over romance.
Okay. In that case, what are your preferred theme levels? Because I write all over the place. So if you give me your preferences, I can tell you which would be a good one of mine to start with. Oh, no. Okay, hang on. I have just thought of something.
You've got a sampler.
Exactly, right?
Yes, that's what you do. Oh, what am I
doing? Now I have to find my way back. Here we go. Oh, I love Mercedes Lackey. I have not read all of her stuff, but I went through a teenage period where I was all about the series that where people were parts of ships, spaceships.
Oh, I haven't read that one. I was very picky with Mercedes Lackey. I pretty much only read her urban fantasy. I read the ones where elves were race car drivers.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
It was really good. They made all the engine parts out of aluminium because they're allergic to iron.
Brilliant. Oh.
The Ship Who Sang.
Yes.
That sounds very familiar. I haven't read it, but I remember seeing it.
Yeah, so that's my favorite Mercedes Lackey book. That's the one that stands out for me. Though, again, I didn't read that much of her just because, I don't know, I don't think that any of the libraries I had access to had her books in print. Actually, do you know what it was? The time, sort of like peak teenage years, I was in the Solomon Islands where there was one bookstore and it was a used secondhand bookstore. And yeah, the selection was extremely limited. I cleared out their young adult section in a week. Oof. And then the rest of the 2 years that we lived there, they didn't get any new books in. So I was reading any new kid books in or teenage appropriate books in. So I was just like, occasionally to get David Eddings, and that was it.
Oh, yeah.
So thankfully, my stepdad came and moved in with us, and he bought The Hobbit and his complete Lord of the Rings. So, and then this is how small the Solomons is, right? We lived in Honiara, capital city, population of 3,000, 5,000, and which is the same size as Motueka.
Motueka is a very small town.
And that is the capital.
Oh, who's saying that? Yeah, was that Anne McCaffrey?
I think it was a collaboration between Anne
yeah,
McCaffrey
they did work
and
together.
Mercedes Lackey.
Yeah, Mercedes Lackey did lots of collabs, eh?
Yeah, but I was a big Anne McCaffrey fan because in the Solomons there was a 14-year-old from Canada, and she was all about ElfQuest and Anne McCaffrey and Anne Rice, and so she was my ElfQuest was my gateway drug into many things.
They were very horny comics.
Like, yeah. And
I get them out from the library because they had these big hardcover editions. I'd get them out, and Mum would just be like, "Oh, you're reading some childish like fantasy thing," and I'm like, "It's really sexy."
Yeah, no.
So which elves did you have the biggest crushes on? That's the real question.
Okay, this is really embarrassing now, but I was really passionately, this is before I knew what slash was or even what being gay was.
Yes.
But it really intensely bothered me that Bearclaw never liked Strongbow as much as Strongbow liked him. Like Strongbow is the up himself archer and Bearclaw is Cutter's father.
Yeah, yeah. It always really bugged me that Cutter and Skywise didn't sleep together because they're so devoted to each other. But then in one of the really later ones, they do. And I'm like, finally, fucking.
I assumed that they were always sleeping together.
No. Because it's a big deal when it happens. And
Okay,
Lita's like, go on, he needs you. And Cutter's like, okay.
Oh my gosh, Cutter, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, so I was really in love with Skywise and Dewshine, but also Nightfall.
Yeah,
because she was so beautiful.
She was
actually
fantastic.
Nightfall and her boyfriend, Red Lance. I loved them both.
Yeah, I really loved Clearwater. I think her art
she was gorgeous,
so great.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so basically,
chats, man.
Yeah, but I couldn't. My my library of books was really small. But here's the other really great thing. So we're living in Honiara, and there's a New Zealand High Commission in Honiara with a staff of like 3, 4, maybe 5 people, and so it's such a small expat community that we all hang out together. And so the Deputy High Commissioner is like, "You're reading The Lord of the Rings? You need some Terry Pratchett in your life, man." And so he lent me her Terry Pratchett collection.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I am so lucky that even though I was living in this tiny place with no books, people lent me their books. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
I wasn't living in a super tiny place, but I did have an older brother who went, "Oh, is that what you're reading? Try Terry Pratchett." Or a couple of times he'd just be like, "Hey, I think you probably like this. Here you go." And I'd read it.
Yep.
Good times.
Yep. So this is kind of weird, but I can see my link. Basically, I added a link on the YouTube page to the Gillian St. Kevin sampler. I do not see the link on Melon.
Send it to me in private chat and I'll reshare it.
Yeah.
It might have blocked you. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Yeah. But basically, Kitty, this is a collection of 4 books, and they're each the first in a series. So yeah.
There we go. Okay. It might not let you share links because of spam.
So basically,
there you go.
Yep, I'm just going to hop over. But basically, the sampler has 4 stories, and I forget what order they're in. But for a Mercedes Lackey fan, I'd say either Deep Magic or Thorns and Fangs. Maybe Thorns and Fangs, though it is a little bit ridiculous. It is a lot ridiculous.
Kitty's read all my pirate stuff. She doesn't mind ridiculous.
Okay, actually, yeah. If you like Jamie's pirate stuff, then you'll probably like Thorns and Fangs. The plotty aspects might get a bit too much. Basically, Thorns and Fangs is my baby, my firstborn, which means that it has twice as many flaws as everything else I've written, but I love it still. It started off super sexy paranormal romance, but then the mystery and horror elements took over. But it is good fun, I think. It ends in a happy for now, and it takes Nate and Ben 4 books to get their acts together. They both have a lot of growing up to do before they can really earn their relationship. The other one there, Deep Magic, is much slower based. I kind of recommend it to Susan Cooper fans because it doesn't have the Arthurian elements, but it has a lot of the slow, and it's not time slip. It is a character remembering things that happened in the past, but it's very urban fantasy in a rural setting. I call it low fantasy, but I think low fantasy has kind of gone by the wayside now. So mythological fantasy, because it's tied into Welsh mythology. The Secretary and the Ghost, pure gothic romance, and The Ugliest Sweater is why you shouldn't try to combine erotica and comedy, basically.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love The Ugliest Sweater. I unironically love it. It's really funny and really sexy. When I first read it, I was like, am I allowed to be, find this so sexy when I know the person who wrote it?
It's ridiculous. It's like, oh.
It is very silly, but I'm into that. So
yep. So 9-Star accepted Thorns and Fangs, and I was really excited and clicking around on their website to see what else they had coming up. And I saw the submissions page, and they were looking for seasonal submissions. And if you wrote a romance, it had to be like 20 to 30,000 words or something. But if you wrote erotica, it had to be 5,000 to 12,000 or something. And I was like, oh, that's a lot less words. I could write that in like a few days.
Easily.
So I sat down to write erotica and realized that I just cannot write erotica without laughing at it. And so I wrote this thing, and it like, I did myself no favors because it came out at 12,000 words, and I sent it in, and my editor was like, this is cool, but we need to have a dual point of view here. So I had to add in like some more scenes, and so it ended up being long enough to be a romance anyway. But it was short enough that I didn't have to write a synopsis. The second book in the series, Ibiza on Ice, it was like 31,000 words, and at over 30K, you have to write a synopsis. So I edited it down until it was just under 30K, and I didn't have to submit a synopsis. Third book in the series was awful. It was like longer again, so I had to write the stupid thing and write the synopsis.
Synopsises are the worst. After blurbs, actually, I need to write a blurb. That's what I need to do. Okay, so we're going to do another sprint just so I can write a blurb for my 4th Cedric book that I finished a couple of weeks ago. I should be getting my next round of beta back in the next couple of days. So,
oh, exciting.
I need a blurb for it, and hopefully a cover tomorrow or the next day. Okay, so one more 20-minute sprint, and then we'll see how we're doing.
Yep, I actually feel wide awake now.
It's because we talked about ElfQuest.
Yes. Yep.
All right, 20 minutes.
Let's go.
Yes, Kitty, your proofread did help. If you've got any ideas for how to make it sound good in a blurb, please share them. I hate writing blurbs so much.
Okay, after 2 attempts, I just opened Scrivener.
Good work.
Okay, I think that is my accomplishment for the evening. I can now lie down.
aren't you? Come on. Come on. Oh, awkward cat. Hey, what? What? What's the matter? Okay. Yeah, I didn't go with you. I know. It's terrible. Go talk to Anna. Go ask Anna.
Mochi. Just be a nice cat. Hey.
All right. I got seriously harassed by my cat just now.
Yeah.
Because it is the time of night where I give her medicine, and the way that we give her medicine is by cutting open cat treats, Temptations, and sticking the medicine inside. So she gets very, very excited because she loves Temptations, and she also loves a routine. And I usually do it at 7:30, and I didn't. So I have messaged Anna, and Anna is doing it now, and Mochi has left me alone. It's got nothing to do with going outside, unfortunately, Kitty. She just wants to be fed her special treats.
Fair enough. I like to be fed as well. Food at regular times.
So I thought she just wanted me to open the door, so I got up and did that, but then she came back in and was like, meow. So I did write a blurb. I'm not sure if it's any good. I went on a different kind of a different feel for it than my other ones, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then I remembered that I am starting a writing prompt thing in the sci-fi and fantasy Facebook group that I'm in. So I made a graphic for that, and I'm posting about it now.
Very cool.
Yeah. What'd you get done?
I am up to 1,728 words, both today and in this chapter, and I am not finished. So I don't know if... So, yeah, I'm fitting a lot into this chapter.
Yeah.
But also, if I end it before now, I don't really have a good sort of cliffhanger-y. There's no strong ending point.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to write it and then see what the next chapter is like. If it's short, then I may move some of this chapter into the next chapter and come up with a new ending point in there anyway.
Yep. That works.
But yeah, for now, I think that is as much as I can brain tonight.
Yeah, I'm about there too.
Ooh. But I do get to add one more sprint to my log.
I didn't write any of that horror story, so I guess that's what I'm doing tomorrow.
Awesome.
But I got lots done. I'm pretty happy. And
yeah, that was 562 words.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad for someone who couldn't even open Scrivener at the start of that.
True. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's the yawn. All right. Yeah. Might be time to sign off.
Yeah. I would quite like to get us to 8:30 though.
Okay.
And there was a question I had for us when we were doing our writing interview thing.
Yes.
Can I remember it? Oh,
it's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, yes. Okay. I think it was something about processes, but I wrote it down in this book.
Ah.
Yep. Okay. My question was, what do we do when we get stuck?
Oh, good question. What do we do when we get stuck? I'm all over the place, to be honest. If it's a plot point I'm stuck on, I do something like this. This is the mind map for I set myself a problem that I didn't solve. So I have in my new book, my librarian witch is putting books through returns, and some of them are magic books that aren't in the library system, and they just keep turning up, which is a fun plot point, but I didn't know why why it was happening. So those were all my ideas for why it could be happening. So sometimes it's a brainstorm. Sometimes if I get stuck, it's because I'm writing the wrong thing. And I sort of have to take a step back and have a look at it and go, actually, the problem with this scene is that no one wants to read a scene where no one, like they're just sitting around and discussing what has already happened, or like there's no action, there's nothing moving anything forward. And then I can know to scrap that scene or throw in some conflict or actually make it about something bigger. And if I'm really, really stuck, if I can't write, I will go for a walk outside under some trees, or I will go to the museum. Museums are my favorite places to go because it's all these weird new things that I haven't looked at before, or sometimes that I have looked at before. But just being amongst all that stuff and just kind of thinking about the history of it, how did it get here? Why did it mean something to someone? That will all come, it'll spark my brain. And more often than not, if I go to a museum, I have to take a notebook with me because at some point I'm going to have to sit down and write this exciting thing that I've just thought of. Awesome. One example was hedgehogs, because hedgehogs were introduced to New Zealand because the British settlers missed home, and someone thought it would be cute to have little hedgehogs to look at out in the garden in New Zealand. And that turned out to be a terrible idea because they eat the native birds. But that's how we got hedgehogs, because someone was homesick.
So we have a flower garden, a commercial flower garden out near Kaikoura. I say we. I don't own it. It's my mum and stepdad's. Occasionally I work in it when they're busy. But we also have a caravan there, and it's really fun to just go and stay there. And because you can't see another house, you can occasionally hear farm vehicles, but you're not too remote, but it feels more remote than it is. So it's a nice little place to go. But so I'm there by myself. It's a summer evening. It's 8 o'clock-ish. It's just kind of getting hazy outside. And I decide, since I haven't gone for a walk all day, this is the perfect time. And since I've left it so late, I'm just doing laps around the garden. So I get to this corner where it's not fenced well, and there's this big drop off down to a river, but our neighbour sometimes has cattle in the river, and there's this massive rustling sound coming from the long grass. And at first I think it's like a lamb or a sheep that's got lost, but this rustling sound is so big. I'm like, okay, this is a cow. And I'm really worried that this is going to be a bull.
Yeah.
But I can't tell. And I can just hear this rustling sound getting closer and closer. And then out pops this little hedgehog.
Oh, making a massive, massive noise.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I do love a hedgehog, but it was a mistake to have them in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Much like stoats and weasels and ferrets.
Oh my gosh. And possums.
And possums. And honestly, probably cats, but I will never give up my cat. So
yeah. So yeah, when I get stuck, there's, as you say, there's a couple of kind of varieties of stuck. There's story stuck, where, you know, it's a scene that doesn't have enough going on, or a character has made a decision that is wrong for that character, but right for the plot, or just, you know, something where something's out of alignment in the story, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And then creatively stuck, when you're just...
My stomach's grumbling. I don't know if that came through.
It did not.
Okay.
I actually... Yeah, some of those you can push through by sitting at the desk, setting the timer, doing a sprint, and that actually sitting down and working unsticks you. But other times...
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, you have to kind of... I find doing something that's different creatively helps, like, which is why
that's another one that I do. Yeah.
Knitting is great, and well, I'm hoping that embroidery will be great. That's one of the reasons I'm investigating it right now. But I also, and we both draw and paint and stuff. So
yeah, drawing, painting, and sewing for me.
Yeah. Yay.
Yep. Kitty goes camping alone where there are bears and cougars and poisonous snakes. I love it.
So my niece is currently obsessed with animals, but especially big cats. So hang on, I can show you what I've got.
I guess this is the embroidery hoop. Actually downloaded a new cross stitch pattern.
This is my first one.
So good.
This is a zebra inspired by my niece's drawing of a zebra. It's basically, I've copied it in embroidery form, but I'll show you my hoop. But yeah, I've got a pretty good, I think it's a really basic, ordinary hoop. This is the embroidery bag. And then this is my very basic hoop.
Very cool. What's the next project?
So my mum is an Anglican vicar, and she has this amazing robe. I don't know what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Then they put fancy pieces of fabric over top of it. Oh my gosh. They have these like colorful stripy things. Like they put on their robe and then they've got this piece of cloth that hangs down and you can embroider those. And all of like the people who have been vicars for years and years have fancy embroidered ones. Megan has some beautiful ones. They're really good.
Yeah.
But my mum has only been a vicar for a few years, 5 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And she is, before she became a vicar, she was a marine biologist. So she is hugely into science and nature and New Zealand birds. So she really wants me to sew her a tui so that she can attach it to her fancy vicar clothes and incorporate some of her like love for New Zealand birds into her vicar uniform. Like,
amazing. It's a big career change, marine biologist to vicar. That's pretty impressive.
She has had like the most interesting professional life. Like it's just really, she's gone through a lot of changes and career choices to get where she is. But yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and as part of her vicar job, she has just opened an op shop, and it's run out of the church hall, and I think it's open 2 days a week, and it's to like help the community and stuff. And it's really funny because like she has a couple of people who come in and they're like, oh, you've got new children's books, let's go through them. And they pick out all of the books, and Mum's sitting there going, I want that one, I want that one. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to look at them. And so we've got,
oh no,
we are a family with definite sort of hoarding tendencies. So putting my mum in charge of an op shop and expecting her to not come home with everything is asking a lot. So Kitty, I don't. What Mum is thinking is that I will do the embroidery on a piece of fabric, and then she will, or we will figure out a way to back it. Oh, I am freehanding it, but I have fabric pens and stuff, so I can draw on the fabric.
Yeah.
So I'm not going in there completely without any guidance. Yep. Though having said that, I bought an Air Erase fabric pen to do the zebra, and by the time I'd drawn the zebra onto my fabric, it had erased. Yeah. So before I even threaded the needle, it was all gone. And so I had to just do my best, but I was lucky because the zebra was kind of wonky. So any mistakes I made looked intentional. And it's crazy how much it actually looks like the original zebra.
It is gorgeous. Yeah. It's really cool. Has your niece seen it?
Yes, and she's very happy.
Good. Okay.
It is 8:30, so we have, I think we can be very proud of staying awake this long.
Yeah, I've done some iron-on ones that were quite good. There's a book called Subversive Stitches or Subversive Cross Stitch or something.
I just returned Subversive Cross Stitch to the library today.
Nice. And it has all like the tattoo patterns and stuff. They're really fun. I got one which had lots of iron-on designs. It was good fun to do. But I'm not a beginner. My mum taught me when I was a kid. Yeah,
actually, Kitty, what I'm thinking of doing, this might surprise you. Reddit is fantastic for people showing off their amazingly creative and incredible embroidery work. And somebody made a sampler that was just each of the different stitches with 1 strand, 2 strands, 3 strands, and that, so that they had a reference of what things looked like. And I actually think that might be a really good project for me to do as a beginner before I tackle the TUI. So I've got...
Send that to me too. That sounds really fun.
I have to find it again. This is a problem. I found it when I was in my, this is cool, but I don't know if I want to do this phase.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Kitty says definitely, so that's it. That's what I'm doing next. Thank you,
if you can find it again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I am going to go lie down, maybe watch some TV, and then go to bed, read my book. This has been really useful. I got some stuff done, some stuff knocked off my big to-do list, which is always good.
Yeah. And I made progress with my story, so that's also good.
I will message you tomorrow, Gillian, about possibly Bujo stuff, because I don't think I'm going to go to that brunch. I've organized a call, so we'll see how I do after that. But we might be able to do some Bujo stream, maybe.
Yay! Sounds fantastic.
And for now, it is bedtime.
Yep. Let me have a look, actually, because anytime somebody, yes, you are, in fact, you are order 109 through my website.
Wonderful.
Yep, brilliant. I'm so pleased. And yeah, let me know what you like and don't like, and I can throw more things at you, not necessarily stuff of mine. Here I go, assuming that you want to grow your to be read list. You may be trying to avoid that. But yeah, let me know what you like. And if there's a few authors I know who I would be happy to share with you, basically.
Awesome. Yay. More friends. Yay. More community.
Brilliant.
Right. Thanks for dropping in, Kitty. And we will talk later. Have a good night. And sleep well.
Bye.